Hello and welcome to The Flicksters, the place where two movie geeks bring you all the news and reviews you could ever wish for. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and also download our podcast on Anchor, iTunes, Pocket Cast, Google Play, and Castbox. See you there.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of The Flicksters. This is our 6th episode. Believe it or not, Deval.
Wow, number 6 already.
Number 6 already. And you know what? I was just thinking to myself, you know what? I can't remember the last time I've lasted this long in something. So, you know what? Pat on the back. Seriously, pat on the back. But thank you, ladies and gents, for downloading another episode of The Flicksters. Today, we've got a ram-packed episode of movie news. We've got streaming news. We've got film reviews. We've got anniversary corner. We've got hidden gems. I mean, what more do you want? Like, seriously, blood?
That is a lot. All for free as well.
All for free. So make sure you lock this episode down. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and make sure you hit us up on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah. Hit us up, guys, because I don't know where else you can get all this for free. I mean, come on. You can get the film right here for free. Baby, you want me? You can get the film news here for free.
Love it. This is brilliant. Deval, before we start the show, there's just one name that I'd like to mention. Cate Blanchett.
Last week, we could not remember her name.
This is embarrassing because we knew Cate Blanchett, obviously Oscar winner. Oscar. I want to say Oscar winner,
I think
right?
so.
Yeah,
let's give her an Oscar. Yeah,
she's got an Oscar. Oscar winner Cate Blanchett. And she was in a couple of movies that we kind of looked at and we reviewed, and for the life of us, we could not remember her name. So, ladies and gents, if you go back to episode 5,
yep,
we kind of totally glossed over her name. So it's Cate Blanchett. And second thing, bro, where's your t-shirt?
My t-shirt, the one that I promised you.
No. Like, you're not wearing a t-shirt today.
Oh, today? Do you know why? It's laundry day.
Oh,
so,
right.
You know,
okay. It's laundry day today.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. I'll let you off then. So thanks for joining me, Deval, on another episode of The Flicksters. And thank you for downloading, ladies and gents. Before we get into the movie reviews, I just thought we'd start off with our regular film news.
I like this bit, you know. I do like this bit because I always learn something in this bit.
Yeah, and we give each other something. So I want to just start off with now. Where do you stand on Game of Thrones?
Where do I stand on Game of Thrones?
Yeah, it's a silly question. Silly question.
I am of House Lannister. Lannister always pays their debts unless they're me. I'll pay you later. Now, I love Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, I mean, from day one, I've been watching Game of Thrones from when it first came out, and I've been hooked ever since. Love it.
And when you found out that this was going to be the last season, what came across your head?
You know what? I would say I was gutted.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm happy, and I feel fortunate and proud that they are going out on their own terms, and they're going out on a high rather than, just doing the show to death and going downhill. So I'm happy. I'm it's going to be a good ending.
Yeah. And for people who don't know, this is season 9.
Season 8.
Sorry,
will be. Yeah.
Season 8 is the final season. That's it. It's only going to be about 6 episodes.
Yeah.
But they're going to be like an hour and a half long.
Yeah, feature length. Yeah.
Like, come on, where have you ever seen that?
Nowhere.
Like, come on. They're like, these are going to be films.
Yeah.
So the news that I want to bring to you today, Deval, is that the spin-off or the prequel Game of Thrones called Age of Heroes is being greenlit.
Age of Heroes. That's a good name.
So this is going to take place like thousands of years I mean, I'm assuming thousands because in the whole Game of Thrones, but this is going to be way before, Jon Snow, before the Stark. Well, there will be some Starks in there.
Yeah.
But this is greenlit, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
So that fix of Game of Thrones, it still will be there.
It will continue.
It will continue. So, but it's going to be kind of like a different set of characters, different set of heroes, different storyline. The most important thing is, I think George R.R. Martin, he's going to be involved in it.
Okay, good.
And you need that, right?
You need the continuity. You need it from the source, from the horse's mouth.
Exactly.
He needs to be involved to make sure that everything is right.
Yeah.
In the way it was intended, rather than just made for TV and just edited anyhow you want to edit it. But yeah, that's going to be. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So I'm sad, but I'm not sad because we're going to get something else out of it.
Oh, I wonder if they're going to include Stark the Builder. There's a story of Stark the Builder who years ago was involved in building the wall. Yeah, and oh, do you know what?
Oh, and what about? Will they discuss, or will this be around about the time when we saw the White Walkers?
Yeah, maybe. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see.
We're gonna have to wait and see. But yeah, I mean, this isn't happening for another couple of years.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to wait.
We can wait. We can wait
because we've got Game of Thrones to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, brilliant. Next up now, Jeff Jones, who is he's like a bigwig at DC Comics and the DC film universe. He's stepping down, and that might be pretty sad news, but it's actually quite good because he's stepping down to focus in on another area.
Yes.
So he is stepping down to become like a kind of creative director, and he's going to be working on building up the kind of the film universe.
Yeah. When I first heard that as well, I thought, what's that about? Was there a bit of creative difference or something? But I think DC have realised they're behind. Yeah, they got to strip down and just rebuild and put in the right people in the right places to rebuild in their respective departments of strength is the way forward. Jeff Johns has been around for donkeys. He's written comics of all sorts. He's led a lot on the Green Lantern Corps in the comics, and I believe when he as he steps down to Mad Dog Productions, which is going to be more involved in a lot of the network, not network, but I guess the DC streaming service when it finally airs. A lot of the like Teen Titans and shows like that, and Doom Patrol. So he's going to be involved in that more hands-on. Right. But also he's going to be involved in the Green Lantern movie.
I can't wait.
I think he's actually beginning to write that now or something. So in time, I think they're going to just take their time, step back, one step back, two steps forward. So I'm looking forward to it.
I was reading an interesting article, and what they said is the hottest product that they've got actually on the moment, which is really popular, fans love it. It's doing really well in the ratings in America, like North America, and I'm assuming over here as well in Europe, is Green Arrow.
Green Arrow is really good. I got into it a little bit late, 2 seasons late, but as soon as I started watching it, I was hooked.
Exactly, and it's got everything that you'd kind of want. It is dark. It's got the kind of the meta. Obviously, it's got Flash in there as well. I'm a huge fan of the Flash. Got all these different characters in there as well, and for me, what I loved about I think it was last season, or was it the beginning of this season, was the Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah.
That whole storyline, and it was split across 3 shows. So Green Arrow, The Flash.
4 shows even.
Sorry, 4 shows.
Supergirl, Green Arrow, Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow. Crazy. And I think so for the small screen, I think they're doing brilliant. Yeah.
They're doing really, really well.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll get to see another Superman. I do want to see another Superman.
Yeah, me too.
They need to kind of work on that one.
Yeah.
So hopefully we will see that. Oh, talking about kind of going on the whole kind of Superman, and I was going to mention Batman. Matt Reeves, the new director of The Batman.
Oh.
So this is full steam ahead. So Matt Reeves, director of The Batman, but most importantly, there is well, at the moment it's a rumor, but I mean it's quite likely that Ben Affleck might not be the Batman anymore.
So who's going to be Batman? Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. Jake Gyllenhaal, okay. But I mean I'm not sure. So what happened was Ben Affleck was writing a script.
Yeah.
I can't remember who he was writing it with, but he was writing a script called The Batman, and then what happened was Batman and Superman the Justice League didn't work out really well. And then there was a lot of confusion, and there was a lot of heartache, I reckon, and a lot of fan backlash.
And creative difference, probably.
Creative differences. And I think he's just taken a step back.
Yeah.
And then he thought, right, look, you know what? I'd rather just someone else take over. So we have Matt Reeves. And then he started working on a new script. So it's anyone's guess.
What is going on?
I just wish that, I mean...
Come on, get out. Dark Knight.
Bring back Christopher Nolan, I say. that guy knew, like, you know, what to do with the whole thing. So that was a piece of news. Okay, so one thing I wanted to ask you: what do Avatar, Titanic, Star Wars: The Force Awakens have in common, Duval?
Okay, they're all top films. I think they are the top. They're in the top 5. I think of the worldwide gross, gross takings, money and all that. But also, I think they. Looking at your face, I'm not right yet. I've got to keep guessing. So
you're actually on the right thing. Now, those 3 films, so Avatar, Titanic, Star Wars: The Force Awakens, they are the only 3 films that have hit 2 billion worldwide.
Okay.
However, we need to add one more to that.
Infinity War.
Yes! War has reached 2 billion worldwide. So, I mean, what a record.
Yeah, like, that come on. Great. That's why I'm broke. I mean, half of that's me, obviously.
I know. You've seen it about 12, 13 times now.
Yeah, so 11. I'm going to get to 12 this week at some point.
Talking about watching Infinity War, you must have heard about this. So a guy in the US, in North America, he watched Infinity War 46 times.
He's
46 times, and he got invited to the Avengers 4 premiere by the directors.
That is gangster. If I knew that, I would have done it 50 times.
I know, like, come on, like 46 times. I mean, come on, that's dedication.
He knows it word for word, I'm sure.
I'm sure he does. So, and the funny thing that was, when I was reading about this guy, his wife saw it like a couple of times with him, and then after about the second or third time, she's like, look, I just can't, like, I can't watch it anymore. Wow. Like, you keep going. So this guy has been going week after week after week after week, and he got invited. By the directors. I thought that was like fantastic for a fan. That's amazing, right?
That is, yeah.
What else have we got? So I'm just trying to pluck these out.
I've got a bit, actually.
Go for it.
Okay, so oh my gosh, I'm actually upset. You know, this one upsets me. This one does upset me, and I don't get upset easy. But oh my gosh, I love my Marvel. If anyone hasn't guessed by now, 6 episodes in, I'm always talking about Marvel and stuff. But I also like football. I play football. I watch football.
Yes,
la-di-da. But Ant-Man and Wasp was due to be released on the 6th of July. Guess who's pushed the dates back?
The World Cup.
Yes.
Oh my God.
It will now be released on the 15th of August, I believe.
What?
That's like a month and a bit later.
That's crazy.
Yeah. All because of the World Cup. I mean, come on. They believe that they're not going to get the audience that they would get otherwise, because so people are going to be watching the football and so on. It's a worldwide event. They don't want to compete with another, with an event like that. So Ant-Man and Wasp getting pushed back. I was trying to buy my tickets last night.
Yeah, I know.
I was thinking, where is it?
I kind of understand it, right? Because World Cup, like so many nations. But yeah, I mean, but then again, it makes me think they knew about the World Cup like for a while.
Well, maybe they didn't. I don't know if the people. They should. When they announce a date, they should see what is happening.
What other worldwide events?
Maybe they were just looking at film events. Maybe someone in the PR department didn't think about sporting events. You know? So I'm going to apply for that job.
Go for it. At least I'll have an inside man. There's one thing I wanted to mention with Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Now, these are our kind of connections to Avengers 4. Yeah. So I've been reading a lot about this. There might be kind of little nuggets in Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel about what could happen or what we might see in Avengers 4. So I'm really looking forward to this.
I think more so with especially Ant-Man and Wasp, because timeline, they're in a similar timeline.
Sure.
And there's got to be some sort of connective tissue between Ant-Man and Wasp and Avengers, because obviously, if you haven't seen it, guys, spoilers, but after the end of Infinity War, there's a massive, people are calling it the Snapcher. The Snapcher. But so we must see that affect Ant-Man and Wasp. But with Captain Marvel, hers is set in the 90s, I believe.
Right.
But we still, it may connect. We don't know. So we've got to wait and see. But I mean, I'm really excited to find out about it. But just a quick one on Ant-Man and Wasp. The villain. I don't know if many people know about the villain. Some ghost character.
No.
This ghost character is a character I think a lot of people will relate to in today's day and age. This ghost character is their main motivation is disrupting large corporations and toppling governments and so on. So this person has created the ability to phase through matter and also become, I guess, impenetrable in a way.
Wow.
So yeah, it's lots of molecular physics going on there, and yeah, that's the
and I'm assuming obviously they've plucked this villain out from the comics.
The comics,
right?
yeah. This villain started in 1987 in an Iron Man comic, and I guess because of the villain's motivation to take down corporations and so on, this villain was initially attached to Tony Stark and Stark Industries and so on. So it'd be interesting to see how this villain plays in today's day and age, because a lot of people may relate to this villain and think, I kind of want to topple a corporation too.
Yeah.
So you never know. Let's see what happens. And just on the topic of Marvel, recently I think Kevin Feige, he's the head, right? He controls he controls everything at Marvel movies, and he was at a talk recently and he started discussing about Phase 4, about what's coming in the future, and he placed a lot of emphasis on Captain Marvel and said that the character of Captain Marvel is going to be kind of like the face of Marvel going forward. Okay. So he clearly wants Captain Marvel, a female character, to be kind of like the lead, as was Iron Man from Phase 1 to Phase 3 and whatever. So I think they're putting a lot of kind of emphasis on bringing up the female characters, and there was talk of a Ms. Marvel. Okay. Yeah. Kamala Khan.
He would love for there to be kind of that connection. So Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel. So I think it's going to be pretty exciting for kind of more female superheroes, female directors. I think we will see that. And it was important. He did mention, he goes, look, I can't promise that every single Marvel film will be directed by a female, but you are going to see a lot more movies directed by females.
Yeah. I think even Black Panther was supposed to be directed by the lady who directed A Crinkle in Time. A Wrinkle in Time. Ava DuBarry or some her name. A nice name. I can't pronounce it properly. Ava DuBarry or DuBarry or something.
And A Twinkle in Time.
A Wrinkle in Time.
Sorry, apologies. A Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah, that's the one.
I did not see that movie.
Neither did I.
But I mean, it was like the hype around that movie was big.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
So yeah, she was on board with Black Panther.
Yeah, she was initially earmarked to do that. Yeah.
Creative, is it creative differences
I don't know
again?
if it was that or maybe other projects that she was working on. I don't think there's any bad blood there, but just maybe conflict in schedules maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was, interesting fact.
Okay, so any more nuggets, any more film news?
I've got a little bit of news here. As today we're going to be talking more dark films a little bit later on.
Yeah.
I thought I'd hit you with some dark news.
Dish it out. Go for it.
So, have you heard of Lars von Trier?
Yes, I have.
You have, sir.
He's quite a controversial film director.
He is controversial. Some of the films he has been involved in, or made, I should say. You've seen, I guess, Antichrist. Have you heard of that?
Yeah. God.
Deep film.
I mean, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Yeah, I know.
You've obviously seen Nymphomaniac.
Who hasn't?
50 times.
Who hasn't?
Part 1 and Part 2.
I think we've all seen it, haven't we?
Also Melancholia.
Kirsten Dunst. Kirsten Dunst, yep.
Maybe Jane. Yeah, so yeah, he's got some, very controversial person. A lot of his films are banned in certain countries.
Yeah.
But were you going to say something there?
No, I was just going to say, he does come up with they're thought-provoking films.
Yeah.
They do actually make you think, and sometimes not in a good way.
Yeah.
But
still
nevertheless,
make you think. Exactly.
They still make
which
you
I think is still an achievement.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lars von Trier is or has made a film called The House That Jack Built. Not sure if you've heard of that. It's a really...
I have not heard of this.
The title suggests, some sort of Bob the Builder type film story, let's build a house. Yay! We need more flats. So it's listed as a blackly comic thriller. But Don't trust that.
I don't.
It's got Matt Damon, Uma Thurman,
Oh,
and it follows the murder spree of a serial killer over several decades. This film was it was aired, or it was shown
Yeah.
at a film festival recently, and there were over 100 walkouts. There were over 100 walkouts. People were like, "What the heck are you showing us?" Yeah, they were. No, it was described as having grotesque killing scenes, mutilation scenes,
Wow.
and killing of children.
oh
Yes,
my
the younglings.
God.
We shouldn't be laughing, but this director shocked. I mean, how can you get 100 walkouts at a film festival?
You know-
film festivals are not jam packed. Probably 200 people there.
Yeah.
100 walkout, half the audience. Go for a quick coffee. I'll come back later.
You know, it just makes me think, how the hell did he rope in Matt Damon and Uma Thurman into this? But that just shows you that I think actors are willing to go to those dark places.
Yeah.
And if there's one director who'll kind of like bring out that performance or get that in a story, I think it's him, right?
Yeah.
But I want to watch this film.
I can't wait till it's out. It's out.
Seriously, man.
It said it's out in November. I hope it's out earlier.
I hope they don't like cancel it or
No, I'll
like,
find
gets
it. Trust
banned
me.
or something.
I'll find it. I'll turn Liam Neeson on them. I'll find you. I have a very particular set of skills finding films that are banned.
Holy shit! I can't wait. You know what? That's the thing. I mean, when is the British Film Festival? Is it the BFI Film Festival?
Oh, that's usually, is that October?
Oh, October time.
I think so. I can't
Maybe there
remember
could be a premiere or something, something like that.
People will walk out for sure. If it's a British one, if they're walking out in
People-
Europe,
oh,
in Britain,
God, man.
in Britain, they're gonna walk
Throw things at the like screen.
protests and
Yeah.
all sorts.
I wanted to mention film producer Martin Bregman. He produced films like Carlito's Way,
Okay, yeah.
Scarface.
Yeah.
He passed away recently.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I love Carlito's Way is one of my favorite films. I've seen it kind of like probably like about 20 times, and there's people out there who've seen it much more than me. But I just thought I'd mention that because this was kind of like a producer, like the old school, like studio Hollywood, getting your actors together,
Yeah.
and knuckling down and making sure that the film was the most important thing.
yeah.
You know what? It's a sad day.
Yeah.
A person who could make, Scarface and Carlito's Way, I think it's pretty rad. So I wanted to mention that one. So if you haven't seen Scarface or you haven't seen Carlito's Way, go out, track them down. They're really great films, both starring Al Pacino, brilliant performances. So
Cool. Nice shout out.
yeah. Anything else?
I think that's my news actually today.
Yeah,
A
okay.
couple of little good ones there, I hope, for the listeners.
Definitely. Well, the Lars von
And,
Trier thing.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I really can't wait
Let's
for that
lock
one.
that one down.
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
So moving on, I just want to quickly go through the UK box office top 10 with you, Deval.
Yeah, sure.
And we've got some new entries here.
A new entry.
Well,
Yes.
there's a couple of new entries. Number 10, McQueen.
McQueen?
Yes, McQueen.
Is he saying it like as in like maybe a Scottish guy would? McQueen? As in my queen? Or you say McQueen? Or
Oh, no, I'm
or-
saying it not in the Scottish way, McQueen, but McQueen. And
yeah.
this is a documentary on the
the designer or something?
designer.
Okay, yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Hold on, Steve McQueen. No, not Steve McQueen.
No, not the director of
Oh, I know. It's 12 years.
it's not director of 12 Years a Slave. No,
I know you're talking about that. I always get them mixed up.
yeah,
I know,
this
I think
is
I know who you
a
mean.
designer
Yeah.
like clothes. Fashion.
Alexandra McQueen.
So I don't know anything about this film apart from the fact that it's about Alexander McQueen, about his life, and about what gets him going. So I'm sure it's pretty interesting, and hopefully I can find some time to watch this film.
Oh, cool.
Because why not? Let's just try and
Yeah.
find something out about this guy. Okay, so sitting at number 9 is a Bollywood film called Gala.
Gala.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Is it like
have.
the apples? Gala apples?
This
Sorry.
guy's on fire today. I love it. I haven't seen the film. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen the film.
All right,
no.
okay. Listeners out there, if you could just send in a review of McQueen and Gala, we'd love that. Number 8, Show Dogs. Well, and I know you haven't seen this because you don't like
hate
dogs.
Yeah, don't show
Exactly.
me no dogs.
So forget that one. Sitting at number 7, and it's still in there. It's still in there. Have a guess.
The Potato Peel Society. No.
No.
Blade Runner.
Absolutely.
Was it number 6 this time? Or
It's sitting at number 7.
number 7? Okay, so I think it was number 6 last time.
Yeah.
So
It's
good,
week by week.
good,
It's probably
yeah.
making its way
But it's
out.
still in there. That's
Yeah.
very good.
I bet you all the other films are like getting pissed off.
Yeah.
They're like, this bastard's still in there. But yeah, Blade Runner sitting at number 7. We've already mentioned that before, and there's loads of stuff on Blade Runner, so have a look. Number 6, where you were supposed to watch this film, Sherlock Gnomes.
Sherlock Gnomes, yeah? Nah.
Okay, number 5, and it's quite sad to see it at number 5. But I mean, obviously, we know now that it's done like 2 billion worldwide. But number 5, Infinity War.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm going to go and see it again 100 times this week to bring it up a place. So don't worry about that.
Just before it goes out of the cinema, you're going to watch it a couple more times.
I'm
right?
going to see it one more time at
Okay.
least. Yeah.
So number 4 is, and this is done really well, Book Club.
Oh, that film with the ladies,
Diane
Keaton and Candice Bergman or something. Or
Yeah,
something.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's sitting at number 4. Number 3 is the man with a mouth, the merc, the merc with a mouth, Deadpool 2.
Deadpool 2. Okay, cool. Staying solid. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
it's like, you know, it's a great film. You know, we've mentioned this. It's funny. It's got like, you know, action set pieces in there.
Yeah.
It's got great performance by
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. But who's the kid again?
Oh, I can't remember his real name,
Yeah.
but he's Fire Fist.
He's Fire Fist.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen Deadpool 2, go out there and just watch it. You're going to love it. It's really, really enjoyable. Number 2, Solo.
Oh, Solo.
Solo, a Star Wars story. And
I thought that would be a bit lower down, maybe 4 or something.
absolutely. It's
maybe-
still kind of, you know, maybe
Okay.
like you said about, you know, get second
But
wind.
Second Wind, yeah.
You know, word of mouth. Maybe the fans now, the real true Star Wars fans have thought, oh, okay, fine, I'll go out and watch it.
Saying that, actually, a friend of mine texted me this morning. He's a mad Star Wars fan. You can't talk to him about Star Wars, but he texted me this morning and said he watched it today or last night. He didn't like it.
Okay, right.
But yeah, he did actually still go and see it. So a bit later. So maybe, as you said, people will see it later. So yeah, we'll see.
Okay, and the UK's box office number 1 film is Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom.
Clever girl.
This is a running gag. This is a running gag, right, all the way from like episode 3 or 4 or whatever it is. So if you haven't seen Jurassic Park, I mean the Steven Spielberg, please go ahead and watch that one, and you'll know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I mean, we reviewed Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom last week, and it was kind of like a mixed review. There were some really, you know, fantastic bits in there. Like I thought the special effects were stunning.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the volcano scene in that movie. If you haven't seen it, there's a huge volcano scene. There's dinosaurs. There's Chris Pratt. There's a lot of running, and I think there is a lot in there. But there were some things which I just thought to myself, I've seen this all before. And case in point, Deval, you mentioned the bit where the girl
in the
is
shot in the lift where she's trying to pull down the
and then I asked the question. I said, "Look, is this a nod to the original? Is it lazy writing? Like, what is it?" And it's probably kind of like a bit of both, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So I just think if you're gonna make a Jurassic World movie, there's certain notes that you need to hit, and I think it does do that. But I think if you want to add something new to it, come on, give us something new. You know, give us something. People like me who kind of expecting a bit more. Show us, I don't know, something more exciting.
Show us what you got.
Show us what you got. So that's the UK's box office top 10. Sitting at number 1 is Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom. I just thought we'd talk about what's new on Blu-ray.
What's new on Blu-ray?
Yeah. Have you got any suggestions?
So last time it was Black Panther, and I think it was not Outer Limits, the Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone.
The Twilight Zone. This week, I did have a little gander to see what was out on Blu-ray. Didn't see much, but I did see one film that stood up at the top of the list, which was 50 Shades Freed. 50 Shades Freed.
You are going to kind of have to fill in the gaps for me on this
Gordon
because I'll tell you, right, there was this huge hype. You know, it's based on a book, and this book is like supposed to be like really raunchy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know, hot under the collar
Yeah.
type of thing, and women all over the country, and even men as well, I suppose, were getting really kind of, you know, up sweaty palms about
Yeah.
this book. And then they turned it into a movie, which did it do well? I'm not sure.
You know what? I guess.
Well, if it's got three films,
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If it got 3 films, and it's doing well enough to get the budget to do that. The writer E.L. James, she's laughing.
Right.
Either way.
Exactly.
But to answer the question, I've seen the first 2.
Yeah.
I went cinema for the first one.
Right.
Second one I just saw later on anytime. Third one I haven't seen yet.
Right.
The first 2 are just. There's nothing major. The
Is
first one probably the best one. The second
Any
one was
raunchy? Is it
dry.
really raunchy?
It's not nothing. It's nothing. If Lars von Trier, if Lars von Trier made 50 Shades, I'm telling you, there will be some shades and
Mutilation.
shit will go down.
Necrophilia.
Trust
flipping
me.
out.
But it's light. It's not major. I guess it's got to be a tad light for the rating and to pull
Yeah.
in an audience. It can't shock people too much.
Sure.
But it wasn't anything major for me.
Okay. Are there any kind of like bum shots and things like that?
Yeah,
And
you
like-
get a few bum shots. You get a few boob shots.
Yeah.
I think if you see the privates in some parts and so on.
Yeah.
But it's not just that, but it's the intensity of the relationship that I guess is depicted in the book.
Right.
Doesn't translate that much onto the screen, and that's what people wanted to see.
And I think that that applies to a lot of films really, because like a lot of people say, "Oh, have you read the book?"
Yeah.
Like, you know, so I think that kind of sometimes like from literary to the kind of like to the screen, things don't always translate. So all right, so that's out on Blu-ray, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, thanks for that. I'm not sure if I'll go out and get that.
I know I won't.
But it's interesting. So what I also wanted to mention was new out on streaming services. So this is I picked this up on Amazon Prime.
Oh.
And Training Day.
Oh.
Which is the Denzel Washington,
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke. I mean, what would you call it? It's like a thriller. It's kind of like a crime drama.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like Ride Along, but like a gangster version.
exactly. And Denzel Washington, he won an Oscar for his performance, and a lot of people were kind of pissed off because they're saying that he should have won it the year before. I think it was the Hurricane.
Okay.
Was it the Hurricane? Or so a lot of people feel like as if the Oscars, they just gave him it.
Yeah. A bit like Leonardo.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Like, yeah, you know, they just kind of gave it to him. And, you know, and if you compare, like, you know, his performance in The Hurricane, which is a fantastic movie, and you compare it to this, yeah, they're totally different stories. But then I think they just probably thought, look, he's been like working in the industry for such a long time now.
Yeah.
And I hate that shit.
Yeah,
it's
I know what
like
you
a
mean.
pity,
Yeah.
like a pity Oscar.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Training Day is out on streaming on Amazon. And I've got to tell you, when I watched this film in the cinema, I absolutely loved it because I hadn't seen Denzel Washington play like basically he's a gangster.
Yeah.
A gangster
He's
with
bad man.
a badge.
Yeah.
And seeing Dr. Dre in there as well,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. And I just thought, you know what, it was the life in a day of two coppers, and you know, the people that they meet, the ups and downs, the kind of, you know, the roller coaster ride, and seeing that transformation, I thought was brilliant. So if you want to know what it kind of feels like of being a copper or being even like a gangster in the streets of or wherever the film is set, watch this movie. It's out on Amazon Prime. It's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah.
And Denzel Washington, he got an Oscar for it.
I think there are cops out there like that,
For
100%.
sure.
And I think in
For
some
sure.
in some cases there needs to be cops out there like that because things are crazy out there. He bends the rules. Well, he probably breaks the rules, but
Yeah.
not saying it's right. But I don't know. I somehow think somewhere in the world there needs to be a few people like him. That sounds crazy.
You know, I 100% absolutely agree. Because like, imagine you need this kind of connection sometimes with people in the community, and it's almost like kind of like, look, you scratch my back, I scratch yours.
Yeah.
You give me some information, I'm going to give you
Yeah,
something back.
yeah.
And this film, it kind of, you know, for right or wrong, whether we agree with him, and a lot of people do agree with what he does.
Yeah.
he's a police officer. He's risking his life, and he's probably thinking, yeah. So what if I kind of like take 100 grand? so what if I like do a little deal on the side because I need to support my family, my my whatever, because I'm gonna get my ass shot off. So I think it's really good at that. And then you have kind of like Ethan Hawke, the clean shaven, the guy who wants to kind of make a difference. He wants to learn, and I love the fact that Denzel Washington, he puts him through kind of like tests.
Yeah.
He puts him through these little tests and to see if he can get out of it. And in the end, Ethan Hawke, man, he does it. He does the business. He comes through, and then I'm not going to give away the ending if you haven't seen it, but definitely watch it. You might be able to predict what happens by the end of it, but yeah, it is a great film.
Definitely.
Anything?
Yeah, I've got one. It's available on Netflix.
Okay.
And it's a new one. It's a documentary. It's called The Staircase.
Okay.
And it was brought to my attention by my cousin. She was talking about it. I think, what's this about? And she said, okay, so this story is about a staircase, as it says on a tin.
Yeah.
But basically, it's a real life story, documentary about a man's wife who falls down the stairs and unfortunately dies. And the story plays out over, a period of time, depicting his, because he gets arrested basically for the crime,
Sure.
or for her death. And it's about him trying to prove his innocence.
Right.
And the police and so on trying to prove that he was the one that killed her. The reasonings behind her dying, the forensics around, how she fell, the injuries and all that kind of thing. It kind of reminds you of Making a Murderer a little bit.
Oh God,
and documentaries like that where,
Yeah.
the person, the defendant has to prove their innocence.
Sure.
And a campaign is almost forged in this process, and it just also shows you how law enforcement works and how the legal system works, and how sometimes things aren't always black and white.
Sure.
There's a lot of grey, 50 shades of it in some cases.
Nice.
But thanks. But yeah, it's interesting. I haven't started watching it. Well, I started watching it, but I haven't finished at
Sure.
all, so I've got quite a bit to go. But it's very interesting so far, very engaging. The protagonist, or the defendant, he is, you want to believe him. You just feel for the guy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he could have done it.
I know.
It's just one of those things.
Absolutely. I've got this from kind of like a reliable source, and that reliable source is my old man.
Oh.
He watched this film. He watched the documentary, and he watched it in like over 2 days. So
wow.
So it's a 10 episode. I think it's about 10 episodes. He watched like 5 and 5 or whatever.
It must be good.
Yeah. I mean, if my old man can sit through that, then it must be really good. He said it's gripping. He said he goes, exactly what you said is it's not black and white. You just don't know for sure what happened, and it's filmed over like about 10 or like maybe about 10 years or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to this one, and especially because I liked Making a Murderer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, good shout. Yeah. So thanks for that one. I'll kind of keep an eye on that one. Do we have anything else on Streaming Corner?
Not as yet. I think we're going to say something next week, because a few things are coming out next week. We've got Luke Cage. That's out on 22nd, which is Friday.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to talk about that, and
And you know what we're gonna do? We have to go back to Luke Cage season 1 first, because I need to speak to you about that, because there's a couple of things in there. Because there's a couple of things that I wasn't sure about, so I'm gonna pick your brains about that one. And and obviously, ladies and gents, if you've got any films that you've seen on Netflix, on Amazon, or whatever, Hulu, which is pretty big in North America, let us know. Write into us at The Flicksters on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. Tell us what you're watching.
Just stand and shout from a rooftop, and we'll hear you. You know,
of course. Okay, so next I wanted to mention was our anniversary corner.
Anniversary corner.
Anniversary corner, and I know you've got a couple of films that you want to mention.
But a little jingle there.
I love that. Can we maybe? I'm going to try and like sample that in with some music.
Please don't.
Do it one more time.
Anniversary corner.
Bro, I'm on it. Watch. So look, I wanted to mention to everyone and I wanted to mention to you, Deval,
Yeah.
20-year anniversary of a German film called Run, Lola, Run.
Yes, this film was it shot all in one? No, sorry. The film is real time. I think it's like 2 hours from one place to the next or something. Or am I getting it wrong? So something unique about the way they filmed it, I think.
Absolutely. And I tell you one thing, right? It's a cracking movie. So for our listeners out there who don't mind subtitle movies, obviously it's in German. I remember watching this film when I was about 15, 16 years old. And the whole premise was absolutely amazing for me. And like, you know, what would you do if you were given 20 minutes in a high risk, highly stressful situation, and your loved one said to you, if you don't get me £100,000 within 20 minutes, I'm gonna die.
Wow. Where are you going to get the money from?
What are you gonna do?
Oh man.
So Lola played, who is played by I think it was Franca Potente.
Wasn't she the one in Jason Bourne?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Jason Bourne. And she was in, I don't know if you remember this film, a film with Johnny Depp called Blow.
Yeah. With Penelope Cruz as well, I think. Yeah.
So she was in that one. And she's, I can't remember what else she's been in, but, you know, she's
good.
She's good. She's really good, yeah. So Lola, played by Franca, she's the girlfriend of this person who's in this highly stressful, he's just up shit's creek, right? He needs 100,000 back then Deutschmarks. So this is like kind of going back
Getting all international.
you know, so he needs 100,000 marks because a deal went sour. Okay, and Lola, she's got 20 minutes to come up with 100,000 marks.
Wow.
And the way she does this is so kind of unfamiliar to kind of audiences, and it was unfamiliar to me of like, you know, what she does. And she runs so much in this movie that I was like, shit, I feel tired. Like watching watching this lady run, right, is just absolutely brilliant. And also it's, you know, the film Sliding Doors.
Yeah.
You know, that whole concept about, imagine if you took a wrong or you waited for the next bus or the next train or something. It builds on those similar themes as well.
Okay.
So what happens if you say something different, or if you do something different, do you have a different outcome in life? And it's a short film. It's only like an hour and it's like an hour and 20 minutes, I think.
Okay.
So she, I mean, I'm not going to tell you exactly what happens, but the whole movie is based on her trying to find a solution to her boyfriend's problem. She engages with different people. She engages with her father. She engages with people on the street. She engages with people who then have different outcomes on their life because she interacted with them. And this plays over again and again and again and again. So it's almost like kind of like a time loop. Oh,
that sounds interesting.
It's really good, mate.
That sounds good.
And for a film that was made back in 1993, I thought, you know what, it was 1998. It was pretty amazing. So I'm going to definitely recommend that to you. It's called Run, Lola, Run, and you can get that on Play. It's a couple of quid.
Yeah,
it's like
worth it.
Yeah, it's £2.50. You can rent it. In the US, it must be about $3 or $4 or something like that. So if you can watch Run, Lola, Run, definitely I recommend that. The second film that I want to mention, which is 25 years old, so this is 1993, is an instant classic for me. It's a Western movie, and it is called Tombstone.
Tombstone. Liam Neeson? No,
not Liam Neeson. It's got Kurt Russell.
Okay.
Val Kilmer.
Oh.
Okay, and Michael Biehn from Terminator.
Oh, him, the one from Aliens as well.
From Aliens.
I love him, yeah, he's great.
Powers Booth is an actor from, he was in 24, and he played a cop with Brandon Lee in
The Crow.
Not in The Crow. What was the one before The Crow?
The Magpie. I don't know.
Okay, so basically, he's I mentioned Val Kilmer, right?
Yeah.
So Russell Crowe plays Wyatt Earp, the legendary Wyatt Earp.
Okay.
And this is based on a real person. So Wyatt Earp and his brothers, he was a lawman in the 1860s, and he has a business opportunity to go to a town called Tombstone.
Oh.
He's not a lawman anymore. However, wherever he goes, people know the name Wyatt Earp because he has this reputation. And on the other side of that, you have the Cowboys, so a gang called the Cowboys, funny enough. And it's run by Powers Booth, and it's got Michael Biehn in there. So it's I'm not sure if you ever heard of this, Devout. There was a famous gunfight called the gunfight at the OK Corral.
I've heard of it, but I don't know much about it.
Well, in the movie, you see a gunfight at the OK Corral.
Okay.
And
Corral.
And it's brilliant. It's got fantastic one-liners in there. It's got Val Kilmer playing Doc Holliday, who's this drunk. He's got like a disease. He's dying, but he's drunk, but he's really quick on the draw. Like, honestly, mate, if you love your westerns and if you love classic one-liners and you love your action films, you know what? Just go ahead and watch this movie.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of westerns anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I've never seen Kurt Russell better.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's really good in this film as Kurt Russell. There was another film called Wyatt Earp, and that was with Kevin Costner.
Okay.
And these two came out around about the same time. And what I would say is they are kind of like you watch them one after the other if you can.
Okay.
So the Kurt Russell one is like an hour and a half, but the Kevin Costner one is a bit deeper. It's a bit kind of goes in a lot more detail. It's 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So start off with Tombstone. So that's my lot.
Gordon Bennett. Okay, good luck. Nice
Yeah.
one. Good one. I've got a couple. So the first one is 10 years. 10 years ago, 2008, things were quite dark in that year.
Right.
You know, and we had to call upon a hero that was, you know, within the shadows. So we called upon the Dark Knight. Oh, exactly. When I say that, the Dark Knight, it brings up so much emotions of, you know, you see clips in your head of the film, and some of the liners, or the one liners like you're saying, and just the imagery and the meaning behind it, and it's just a great film. Some people say it's probably the greatest comic book film. Some people say that it's arguable. You know, we can argue about that. But
sure.
Great film. I mean, Heath Ledger. I mean, which other comic book character, yet alone villain, gets nominated for an Oscar? You tell me.
I mean, I just kind of think to myself, looking back and watching that performance of Heath Ledger as the Joker, he just brought so many kind of layers to it.
Yeah.
There were things in there that he did which were really creepy, were really scary. And, you know, the whole thing about, you know, why so serious?
Yeah.
I just, come on,
It's
man.
crazy. That line, I mean, and there's a part at the ball when he grabs Bruce Wayne's love interest, Gyllenhaal girl, I can't remember her
Maggie,
name, Maggie, and he tells a story
Sarah, Claire?
I can't remember her name, but he tells a story of
Rachel.
how he got
Rachel Dawes.
the cuts on his mouth. He said, my dad, I can't remember what he said.
And he does that lick
Yeah, I know.
with the lips.
That story, and the whole story about his dad. Is it true or is it not? We don't know. It's just crazy.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because every single time he tells that story, he changes it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So which is the one?
You don't know. You don't know.
Do we know that in the comics? Like, do they
I
mention
don't know. In the comics, he's an enigma. He's an enigma.
Yeah, he's really great. And what would you say in terms of the three films? Like, what is your favorite?
Oh, Dark Knight, 100%.
Yeah.
Batman Begins, great film. Dark Knight, wicked film. Dark Knight Rises had a few holes in it for me.
Yeah.
Good film, but a few holes. But the Dark Knight, I mean, everything about it. The beginning, the bank robbery, when the
music.
Yeah, and it's like I think they go into a different bank, and he even shoots his own crew. And you know, the person asked him, he asked him a question or something, and he says, "What?" Did he say, "What doesn't kill you makes you weirder or something?"
What doesn't kill you makes you weirder
or something crazy. He's crazy from the get go.
Yeah,
and just. And the police interrogation part, the part where he tricks Batman from going from one building to the other building, the scene with the prisoners and the rich people.
Oh, that was brilliant. And also how he turned Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
because Harvey Dent was just kind of like blown up.
Yeah.
He's just lost Rachel.
Yeah.
And he just flips him. He just switches him.
This is the man that has no powers. Yeah. Remember that. He's got no powers.
I know.
Walks around looking like a clown.
I know.
How is he so powerful? You tell me.
You know, Deval, can I just remind you of one scene? He's being interrogated by Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the lights go
Yeah.
dark.
Oh, that bit's wicked. Yeah.
Man.
And
And then Batman's
there.
behind him. But Batman, he gets his head,
Yeah.
he smashes it,
Yeah.
and you know what? The Joker,
Yeah.
there's no effect.
Yeah.
Because psychologically, he's been through pain
Yeah.
far worse than that.
Exactly.
And that's why Batman can't break him.
Yeah. And it gets on his nerves as well. But Batman knows he can't.
Yeah. But the good thing is, Batman has a chance to kill him right at the end.
Yeah,
but he doesn't.
That's where he says, an immovable force meets an immovable object.
I love it, man. I love it. So what else have we got?
So 15 years, going 5 years older. Bad Boys. Bad Boys 2.
God, Bad
We
Boys
did mention this, I think, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And the reason I mentioned it again, it's 15 years this year.
Wow.
Anniversary. But also, there's a Bad Boys 3 coming out.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
imagine that, 15 years between sequels. That doesn't happen often.
Yeah, and
you know?
sometimes it makes you think like, why do they wait so long? Because Bad Boys, the first one and the second one, they did a lot of money.
Yeah,
They took a lot of money
yeah,
at the box office. So I'm thinking to myself, like, you know, I'm sure the film producers or the film companies must be thinking, come on, we need to make this movie.
Yeah.
So, and it's not like Will Smith is, you know, he's making films, but I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I think he could do with a
He was
hit.
still popular. It's
Yeah.
not like he sunk or he was in some sort
No.
of trouble. He was, I don't understand. Maybe it's
Wow, so that's been 15 years.
yeah, Bad Boys
Wow.
2. Yeah. Looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Okay, 20 years now, 5 years more. And this one's got 20 in the title. Halloween H2O.
Oh God.
H2O,
Brilliant.
is that water? Is that water? No. Hydrogen
Yeah.
something or
Yeah, H2O.
one
yeah.
of those elements, you know. But yeah, 20 years, 19. So the first one, 1978, was it, I think?
Yeah, 1978.
And then this one, Halloween H2O, 1998. And again, the reason why I mention this is because we have a Halloween coming out this year.
So
20 years later again.
So 40 years.
Come on,
it's
man.
It's just crazy. And this was interesting because obviously it had they brought back Jamie Lee Curtis for the 20-year one.
Yeah.
But they also had, what's his name? Is it Josh Hartnett?
Josh Hartnett. Oh, the guy from I know what he did last summer or something. Is that the guy?
I know what he did last summer. Maybe. No, Josh Hartnett was the actor from,
One of those teen kind of films.
yeah, what was the Ben Affleck one? The
Armageddon.
war one.
Armageddon.
No, the Ben Affleck and the World War II one.
Okay. The one Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor.
Got there in the end.
Exactly.
Not another Kate Blanchett.
No. So Pearl Harbor, I think he was in that.
Yeah,
He's
he was.
in,
Yeah.
Penny Dreadful.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Halloween. I mean, again, 2020.
Are you looking forward to the new one?
I am looking forward to the new one. In the trailer, Jamie Lee Curtis is looking gangster. She actually reminded me a little bit of Carol from Walking Dead. When Carol turns gangster, she's got the grey hair. She starts the shotgun. She reminded me of
She
Carol.
can kick ass,
yeah,
man.
so I'm confident she's going to be able to.
Exactly. Oh, and there's one thing that I need to mention, and I'm not sure how you feel about this.
Mention it.
In this new one, this new Halloween that's coming out, they did a bit of a retcon.
Oh,
They have Michael Myers is now not Jamie Lee Curtis's brother.
what?
I couldn't believe it.
Oh my gosh.
So the makers of this new one, they decided that it is scarier when you know. Look, there's a connection between Michael Myers and Jamie Lee Curtis, right?
Yeah.
Laurie, I think her name is. So audiences were like, oh yeah, you know, I can understand it. You know, the brother, he's going mad for, like, you know, he wants to kind of kill his sister. But if you've got a random person who's just out to get you, that's kind of scarier.
It's
and
more
so
crazy, isn't it?
It is,
Yeah.
isn't it? So in a way, I was like, really, why did they do that? But then now it makes sense.
Yeah.
So they've made it so that they're not related.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it'd be
Okay.
interesting. Let's see how that plays out.
Let's see.
Yeah.
My last one, 25 years now, is it sounds funny, but Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Okay.
I wasn't finished now. Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Oh my god, Carrie Yules, I think. I don't know what his name is.
Yeah. But 25 years ago that came out.
25
and
years.
it's one of those films that, you know, if you watch it today, you can still have a laugh. It's still funny. You know, it still holds up. It still looks good. You know.
And you know, it reminds me of you know, you had like scary movie. You know, you had those scary movies, right?
I love them. You know, yeah, I do like them.
And you know, like how those scary movies would reference the real movies, like this horror movies, like the tropes and things like that. This just does it in a kind of like in a silly way where it's still referencing those other movies. All those other movies, which I love as well. They just do it in a comedic way. So
I love when that happens.
I love that.
It just goes to show that they understand and they know, and they don't take it too serious themselves.
Exactly.
Which I think makes it better, because we know, okay, this is bullshit, or how can this happen in the film? But they recognise that as well, and they show us. So that's why I like it even more.
Yeah.
But the reason why I mentioned Robin Hood Men in Tights as 25 years this year, there's also going to be another Robin Hood film.
Oh my, really?
Another Robin Hood film.
Okay.
Yes. So this film is going to be out. It should be out during the summer, I believe, maybe August or maybe September.
Okay.
And it's going to feature one of the stars that we know about, who is going to be in Spawn. Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx is going to be Robin Hood?
He's not going to be Robin Hood. Otherwise, it would be called Robin in the Hood. Yo, Robin's in the Hood. No.
Sorry.
Robin's in the Hood. No. He's going to be in the film.
Right,
I think he's
okay.
probably the biggest star. I'll if you give me a few seconds, I'll let you know who the actual star is of the film.
Okay.
But yeah, Jamie Foxx is going to be in Robin Hood. I saw the trailer and I thought, what's this?
You know, because look, excuse me, sorry. I was a big fan of Robin Hood, the Kevin Costner one.
Yeah,
I liked
it.
that's
a good one. Yeah,
you know, Kevin Costner, Morgan Freeman, Alan Rickman playing, like, you know, the sheriff of Nottingham and everything. I thought it was a really good portrayal. And just going back to Robin Hood Men in Tights, there's a bit in Robin Hood the Men in Tights where he takes the piss out of the Kevin Costner one for his accent. And there's a bit in there where he says, you know, I'm able to do an English accent as opposed to some other people. And he looks into the camera. So he's referencing Kevin Costner there, because he said, I'm not going to do an accent.
Okay.
He was like, not going to do an accent.
Because you can't.
Because
you got to.
Like,
Robin Hood's from Nottingham, not from blimmin',
like, you know, the South.
Wisconsin.
Exactly. Like, you know, so that was really interesting. So
Robin Hood, So Robin Hood is Taron Egerton. He's the guy that was in what's it called? The Kingsman, the main star from the Kingsman.
Yeah, I like him. He's good.
Eddie the Eagle. So he's going to be the Robin Hood.
He's going to be
also one of the villains in the film will be Ben Mendelsohn. From Star Wars, and he's going to be popping up in a few films, I hear, in the next few years. Quite, you know, he's going to be the stereotypical, you know, villain. British villain kind of thing, and he's good. Yeah, so
he's really good. I'm not sure if you saw this film called Starred Up.
Yeah. Starred Up in the prison.
The prison drama.
Yeah.
He was brilliant in that. He was
exactly.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the films that he does, he brings something really menacing to it, and he's a
good actor.
He's a really good actor. I really like him. Okay, so Robin Hood, we're going to see a new Robin Hood. Fantastic.
But not in tights.
Not in tights.
Not in tights.
I wonder if they'll go like make it dark and kind of, you know.
Yeah, it's going to have to be different. Yeah, for sure.
Because the Russell Crowe one, I didn't mind it actually. A lot of people didn't like that, but it was directed by Ridley Scott. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I don't mind this. It's quite good. Oh, and it had Hella in it.
Oh, Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
Got her name right this time.
We're not going to forget a name. Kate Blanchett was in that as well. Okay,
she made Marion probably, yeah?
Yeah, she was, yeah. Cool. So what else have we got there?
Okay, some trailers. I'll do a quick thing about some trailers. Sure. Some trailers popped off in the month of June, showing us what's coming ahead.
Yeah.
We love to know what's coming ahead here on the Flicksters. And I've got 3 trailers to talk about.
Yeah.
One of them is called a film called Upgrade.
Sounds brilliant.
Go for it. It's kind of like Lucy a little bit, but this guy the main guy is played by Logan Marshall Green. He was in Prometheus. One of the main guys in Prometheus.
Okay.
You know, the two scientists who originally found the signal, and then he got infected in the eye and all that kind of stuff.
David
Yes, that's
infects
Logan
him,
Marshall. He's been in a few other films. He was in Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Right.
He was a guy that went a bit mad and was shooting off the weapons in public.
Okay.
Him. So he gets an upgrade literally. So he, you know, I think it's an iOS 68, you know, via Wi-Fi, just plug in, and so he basically gets an upgrade, and he's like a Jason Bourne on steroids.
Wow.
There's a clip in the film where he's fighting this guy, and the actual frame of the screen just starts going crazy. And
Really?
this guy, he's calm, and the guys are trying to fight him, and he's hardly even using 5% of his ability.
Of it,
He's just.
I want to watch it.
So
I want to see it.
It's written and directed by Lee Whannell of Saw, and you know,
Okay.
the person that was behind Saw,
Yeah.
and you know, producing and writing for Insidious and all those
Sure.
horror films. So
Okay.
you know, Lee Whannell was actually in Saw. He was the guy that was in the room in Saw 1. He was the guy who was in the room with the blonde guy who was chained, had his leg chained.
Right.
Lee Whannell was the guy who did he cut off his own leg? No, he was the guy that was left behind in
Sure.
the room.
Okay.
The one with the dark hair. So yeah, so Lee Whannell's been around for donkeys and
Yeah.
really
So he's
talented
behind all those
filmmaker.
kind of like Saw films.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
like-
So
yeah,
he's writing and directing this one. Second trailer. So that film's going to be out later on in the summer. Second trailer, Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Wreck-It Ralph.
I don't know if
2,
you've seen this
wow.
trailer, but
No,
it's
I haven't. I've not seen
Wreck-It
it, no.
Ralph 2. I mean, Wreck-It Ralph 1, a film, all the, you know, computer game or, you know, cartoon evil people, you
Yeah.
know, they have a change of heart and they want to be good. So part 1 had people like Zangief in it, and M. Bison from Street Fighter,
Oh, wow.
Dr. Robotnik. All these baddies wanted to be good, and
Yeah.
it was a funny animation.
Yeah.
Part 2, I'm not too sure what the story is about,
Okay.
but it's going to have all, you know, similar characters again.
Is that that's not a Pixar movie, is it?
I don't know if it's Pixar, but it's an
Okay.
animation.
Right,
It's
yeah.
like Pixar or one of them. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, but there's a funny bit in the clip in the trailer where all these sort of princesses are in one room and they're all chatting about their own dilemmas, and one of them was saying, "Oh, was he poisoned? Oh, did your sister kidnap you? Oh, was he held prisoner? Oh, did he do this? Did he do that?" And because they're all talking to this one girl, and she's like, "Nope, nope, 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 nope," and they say one thing, "Oh, was you forced to do something against your will?" "Yes." "Okay, yes, you're a princess," and then they sort of bond on that.
That is
It's
brilliant.
crazy. It's funny, but this
So there's
film,
going to be a lot of kind of game references in there.
exactly,
and,
and a lot of that.
Okay.
A bit like how Ready Player One is, and sort of ties you into all
Sure.
the old school,
Yeah.
you know, tropes and all that. And going back to the horror,
Yes.
which we will go on further later, the trailer of The Nun. Oh, The Nun.
God.
So The Nun is going to be coming out later on in the year. I believe maybe around Halloween time, I think,
Sure.
or maybe August, or sorry, September maybe. But The Nun. Oh, this.
So this is before The Conjuring,
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. It's a prequel to The Conjuring. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Because there's now about 3 in that kind of franchise. There's about 3 or 4 films, right?
yeah. So Conjuring 1, Conjuring 2's come out. And there's also been Annabelle.
Annabelle.
There've been 2 Annabelles.
Annabelle
Was it 2?
Creation.
Yeah. So Annabelle's come from that as well. And The Nun. Oh, The Nun was in The Conjuring 2, I think. There was a nun character at the end.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
The Nun is scary.
That picture.
Yeah. The Nun is scary.
You know, her presence has been there. Like you kind of see her there in the background. So she's the one who's controlling things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. And what a scary
Yeah.
bitch ass nun,
Yeah.
man. Like, you know, I'm being serious. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's scary.
Yeah. It's Nun.
I can't wait. You know what? That one I can't wait for.
Yeah. Should be good. Should be good. So
It will be good.
can't wait. This year is going to be a good year. It's been a good year already, and there's still more to come. I mean,
know.
come on. What more do you want?
Folks, come on. You're out there. Like, what else do you want to see? You know, bloody hell.
What more do you want?
Okay, so I think that kind of wraps up that segment
Yeah, I would
of the
say.
show. I think
I would
because,
say.
like, you know, we've just thrown loads of stuff out there. So now we can move on to our review section.
Let's move on to the review.
Now,
Where do you start?
where do we start with this movie? So the film that we're going to speak about right now is called Hereditary.
Oh man!
And
Even the title, Hereditary. Hereditary is something that, you know, it's something that you cannot stop. If you Hereditary, it's something that comes through your bloodline, your genes.
Your
It's something
genes.
you cannot interfere with.
Yeah, you're kind of like you're not in control.
Exactly.
And that's how I felt when I watched this movie. I felt not in control. So let's just kind of, I just want to take a step back. I saw the trailer about a couple of months ago because I think it had been shown in the Cannes Film Festival. It had been shown in some film festival, and people were like, you have to watch this movie. You have to watch this movie. So I went online, I went on YouTube, I saw the trailer, and I got to tell you one thing. I was like, this looks absolutely cracking. This looks like an amazing film. There were so many kind of like bits in the movie where I'm like, oh, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at her face. Toni Collette. You know, we've seen Toni Collette before in The Sixth Sense.
Yes, that's correct.
And then something strange happened. The reviews started coming out. And then they started comparing it with The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Now, I've got to tell you one thing. If you are going to compare a movie to The Exorcist, you better be like flipping good.
Yeah,
That the movie better be
exactly.
good. All right. So, how should we do this? Shall we do this with because there's spoilery or?
Oh, it's hard. It's hard. We're gonna have to do it as much as we can without giving away too much towards the ending and maybe the conclusion.
Yeah.
But let's just do the best we can.
Let's just do the best we can.
Yeah.
And folks, if you hate it, then just let us know.
Yeah.
And then we'll apologize. So the film starts off at a funeral.
Yeah.
Toni Collette is giving an eulogy. Her mother's just died, and we see that there are lots of people, at the funeral, and Toni Collette is speaking about her mother, who she says that she didn't have a great relationship with.
Correct.
She says, my mother was very secretive. She had lots of friends. And it was quite interesting because she mentions that, oh my God, there's lots of people at this funeral. I didn't know. She says, I didn't know my mum had, all these friends.
Yeah.
So, the film, moves along. We're at the funeral. We're introduced to Toni Collette's character. We're introduced to Toni Collette's daughter. We're introduced to Toni Collette's husband, played by Gabriel Bryan, the son, who I thought was really, really great in this.
Yeah.
And it's not really
it's kind of normal for
normal.
It's a sort of grieving period and getting to introducing ourselves to the characters, and just it's sort of setting the scene.
Yeah.
It starts off quite slow and just takes you along.
What would you say about, because at this point I think you get slow movements of the camera.
Yeah.
The music.
Oh, massive.
It started to creep up the impending doom.
Yeah.
I just kind of felt like as if, oh my God, the tension is slowly building up. And what I kind of thought was the way that the camera frames the actors, the characters. For example, Toni Collette's daughter, she has a very strange look.
Yeah, she does. Very distinctive.
A very distinctive look. And I thought to myself, they don't explain why she has that strange look.
No.
But I think the director has put it there because, number one, it's a strange film.
Yeah.
I think we're made to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is played out in a physical sense.
Yeah.
So we see the daughter. She's physically, her face is kind of like strange in a way. And we're made to feel uncomfortable when we look at her.
Because even her interactions with the family and the way people interact around her, it's like there's a bit of uncomfort, and there's something, maybe her social skills are not as developed yet, so we can see that something's not right. So we're unsettled already visually, and then obviously the score also adds to that unsettling feeling as well. So even before anything's happened, they are making you feel unsettled, like in your chair. You're kind of thinking, what's wrong? Why don't I feel good? And that just carries you through the film, and that is an achievement because it makes you already unsettled when real shit goes down. Yeah.
So as the film progresses, Toni Collette starts to kind of see, I would say, like she sees like an apparition of her mother.
Yeah, that one was really scary. Yeah.
And talking about the scares, Deval, were you terrified at all during this film, or were you kind of Now, here's the difference: terrified versus horrified.
When people have asked me about the film, I've told them that I felt unsettled.
Yeah.
That's the word I gave them, because the film doesn't rely on jump scares and, you know, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't rely on that. It's a bit more,
Absolutely.
it's a bit more grown up, you know, and they appreciate the audience as well. So they bind you almost to the film.
Yeah.
And then they, you know, they've already put in this subliminal unsettling moment, so that when you're riding through the film, you're just always like, you know what I mean? It's like there's little things that you may not even notice, but it's why are you laughing at me?
That's classic.
It's true. I was shuffling in my chair all the time. I couldn't sit still,
Mate.
because I felt something was going to happen.
I was turning in my seat.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what the hell's
kept
going
shuffling.
I was
Left bum
unsettled.
cheek, right bum cheek. I just kept.
I was unsettled by the young girl, and I tell you the one thing. There's a thing that she does in the film where she's at school, and do you know this movie thing that happens where like the bird crashes into, like a pigeon crashes into the window, and that's pretty like strange as it is, right?
Yeah.
So this happens in the film, and I'm like, oh my god, like this is weird. However, we've seen this before in a movie before.
Course.
But what you're not prepared for is what happens after that, what she does to the pigeon.
Yeah, she does she decapitates it and puts the head in her pocket, like it's like a sweet she's going to eat later.
Yeah, like as if, oh my, like, you know, she's collecting things and like, and for me, seeing like a 13, 14-year-old girl do that, you just think to yourself, oh my God.
She does it so nonchalantly. She's not like phased by it. She just does it.
Yeah. And going back to what you said about like, there's no shock tactics, but it's kind of all psychological. It's all kind of like, they've gone away from the, like, you know, just showing like, you know, the loud bangs and the loud, you know, the gory stuff.
Yeah.
It's just all unsettling.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, and I just want to go back to kind of Toni Collette, where as the film progresses, she becomes more and more unsettled because she's grieving.
Yeah.
You know, she didn't have a great relationship with her mum. She is kind of like, you know, she starts going back, you know, into her work.
Yeah.
And her...
She also goes to like a not AA, but some sort of a counselling session,
like a grieving
session.
Yeah,
exactly.
grieving
so
session.
She goes there and she's new to the group, I believe, because they say, oh, new people can talk, and she starts to speak, but she's trying to, you know, overcome her grief. So she is trying, but she's, you know, it's difficult for her because she wasn't, her relationship with her mother wasn't that strong. So she's finding it hard to really deal with it. But as you're right, as the film goes on, we see her almost deteriorate.
Yeah.
Things happen. There's a major, I don't know if we can get to it yet, but a major thing happens between the son and the daughter. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but a major thing happens. And from when that happens, the mum just goes into meltdown. She goes into meltdown, and it just really starts picking up from there.
And and you're right that the pace absolutely starts picking up. And I just wanted to mention about kind of some of the influences, and people have spoken about this, and I kind of noticed it as well. There was a 1970s film, I think it was 1970s, called Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, I've seen that. It's a great film. Yeah,
so you've got kind of influences there. Ben Wheatley's Kill List.
Have I seen that? Have I seen that? I don't think I have.
Bro,
I've heard of it.
You got to watch.
Seen it.
Kill List.
I should have seen it. The name rings a bell. I'll check it out.
Okay, please check out Ben Wheatley's Kill List. And
is it a British film?
It's a British
film.
film.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen it. It's got a Sean Pertwee or whatever his name is.
Is that
I've seen it. I'm pretty sure I've seen it. Yeah,
so you've got some influences there, and also, I mean, I've got to say, I mean, people might take the piss out of this, but it has got some. There was a bit of The Conjuring in there as well. There's this kind of like bits in there.
But didn't you find it was a bit of a balance between like art house and mainstream? Because you get some art house films of different genres, mostly, you know, drama. You get a few psychological horror ones and so on. Like a lot of Lars von Trier films are kind of art housey, and The Witch, which came out a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
That film was set in New England, like just after the witch trials, I believe, and that was quite art housey. You know, this one finds the balance between that, which is why I really enjoyed it.
They're speaking about death. There's a lot of death in this movie, and Toni Collette's character, she's grieving for her, or is she not grieving for her mother because she doesn't have a great relationship with her mother? She has a relationship with her son, which is kind of a bit strange as well.
Yeah.
And we learn why that relationship is strange with her son. We learn that her mum was part of. She had like a group of friends. She was into kind of spiritualism.
Yeah, or a cult or
the
something,
occult,
yeah.
and we learn more about what that means, what that means for kind of like the rest of the family. We know that Toni Collette had a brother who killed himself.
Yeah,
Okay, and
it's crazy. I got to see this film again.
I know. And then you realize, and one of the things that she mentions in this group, she's in this kind of grieving counseling group. She says, "Oh, my brother killed himself, and before he killed himself, he left a note." And on the note, it said, "My mother made me put things into my head, made me believe in things and put people into my head."
Put people into my head, not. Oh my gosh, put people into
my head. So so Toni Collette's brother killed himself, and before he died, this is what he says. So clearly, there's something not right. And what I just want to kind of mention is that this mother, you don't see the mother, but she's there in the background. She's like overbearing. Her presence is always there. You see kind of like an apparition. And
it's powerful, isn't it?
It's so powerful.
I'm trying to be careful as to what I say without being too giving it away too much. But the visuals mixed with the acting, mixed with the music and the score, it's all so balanced.
Yeah,
it really. There's a few parts where, without giving away too much, where some rituals are taking place, and it's things we've all seen before. We've all seen people do the Ouija board and things like that, and even before they or while they're doing it, a character looks under the table because they're like, "Oh, this is a trick." They're checking around and they realize it's not a trick. But we think, I thought, no, it's not going to work first time. But then it works.
Yeah.
And the character starts believing it and gets freaked out by it.
Yeah.
It's like things happen in this film, and when they happen, they're shocking. But they really, it has to happen because this film, without giving away too much, it's all intertwined into the occult and all that crazy shit.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So the occult, like so Toni Collette's mother, she's involved in the in the occult, and that plays a huge part in the way that that this film is shaped.
Yeah.
And it's like the kind of unseen.
Yeah. It's funny actually. You mentioned Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah.
And for guys that have seen it, this film does remind me a lot about it, because thinking about it more even now as we're talking. In Rosemary's Baby, there's people involved in the occult and all that kind of stuff that are in your face, and you don't know that they're involved in it.
Exactly.
But they'll be nice to you. They'll be your neighbour. Hi, whatever. Oh, how you doing? How's the weekend? But they're involved. They're involved in your life, and you don't even know it.
And almost pushing you into kind of like a way to act. And
exactly.
In this movie, in Hereditary, that's what exactly happens to Toni Collette's character. She's being pushed, she's being pulled, she's being kind of like terrorized internally.
There's a character who she meets who just seems like a nice person and, just wants to help and all that. But she's introduced her and she's
a minion basically.
Yeah, exactly.
She's like,
she was sent. She wasn't there by accident.
Of course.
Packing shopping into her car. She was probably waiting there for 6 hours.
I know. And as I was watching this, I was like, oh God, this isn't going to turn out well. This isn't not going to turn out well. And there's there's a thing that happens in the movie which kind of tips the film, and it's quite shocking.
Mention it. Let's just not say who it is.
Right.
Let's just say the character.
Okay. So if you don't want to hear kind of like any more about this, please go ahead and watch the film. Deval and I we think it's a cracking piece of filmmaking. It's got excellent acting. It made me feel uncomfortable watching the film. There aren't scare tactics, but there's a lot in there which can kind of really scare you. Now, there's a moment in this film where there is another death in the family.
Yeah.
And the death scene is quite...
I was shocked. It came out of nowhere, literally. And when it happened, I thought, hold on. Did it just happen? Because we didn't really get confirmation.
Yeah.
We got the reaction of another character, but we didn't get confirmation of what we thought just happened.
Yeah.
Crazy.
this is no joke. I've never done this. I don't think I've ever done this, or I might have done when I was a kid, but I actually had to cover my mouth.
Oh.
You know, when you just have that reaction where you're like, my
yeah,
God,
yeah.
like to stop myself from saying, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like I saw this scene, right? I saw this death scene, and it's gruesome, but it's like, it's shocking. And I just thought, wow, because in the trailer, this character, like you think like, you know, this person's in there, like
exactly.
for a lot of the movie,
exactly.
And then like when we see the death, I was like, oh my
Crazy.
God.
I like that. What you just said, spot on, because I love the way that they tricked me. I love it. I appreciate it as well.
Exactly.
And they got me. But then I love the way we got confirmation of what happened, because after it happened, no words were spoken. We just saw the character react in a weird way to it, and that made me think, oh,
I felt
maybe
angry.
they're not dead. But then some time had passed, and then we got the confirmation through another character's reaction, which we don't even see on screen.
No.
Great filmmaking.
That is just like
great filmmaking.
It's like, you know, famous people that say like, show, don't tell.
Exactly.
And in this one, they don't show.
Exactly.
They don't show in this film, but you know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
So listeners out there, you have to imagine this is a family where bad things, things are just going from bad to worse.
Yeah.
Toni Collette, she's getting stressed. She works as a what is that job where she makes miniature?
Oh yeah, she makes these miniature models of like things, of houses and cars, and I don't know what the actual job title is, but
kind of creepily, she's making scenes of the stuff that's going on in her life.
Yeah.
Like, for example, her mother's funeral, her mother in hospital, her mother trying to give breast milk to...
Yeah, that was weird. To her child.
To her child.
Oh, that was weird, yeah.
Exactly. So I just think there's so many bits in there where...
It's unsettling.
I know.
It's so unsettling. Everything you see, now you're saying it, I remember. And I thought to myself, what's that? And
well, there's a line in the film where Toni Collette says, she's in the counseling group thing, she says, oh, my mother got her hooks into my daughter from the beginning.
Okay.
Now as an audience member, I'm thinking, oh, that can mean so many things. It mean, she's controlling, she's overbearing, she's just kind of being like that. But then when you see the image of her giving breast milk to the daughter as well.
Okay.
So now you got to think to yourself, like, there's something really sinister going on here. And I just thought to myself, there's all these clues, but I didn't know where this was all leading up to.
Do you know what? I would love to watch the film again, because I'm pretty sure we will see a whole lot of things that we didn't notice before.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
But also, by the end of the film, Deval, did you think that also it could have just been all psychological in her brain?
No. no way. No. Yeah.
Because there's things in there.
I'm breaking shit down.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so go on.
No, okay. I'm not going to mention names of who these people are, but I'm going to say what happens. But no, because
okay, go on.
One character brings another character to try and convince them this is what's going on, and the character tries to go to the Ouija board and show that they can communicate with someone, one of the other characters who's passed away. Yeah. And at first it doesn't really work properly, but then it starts to work, and the other character's like, no, this is mumbo jumbo, blah, blah, blah. Even though we see, evidence of it. Yeah. And later on, this character says, I think they wanted to throw something into the fire. Yeah. And something gets thrown into the fire, and one of the characters just light up on fire. That was crazy. That's when shit starts to really go down, isn't it?
Yeah. And I've kind of, like, when I was making my notes on this, I just kind of there was the first death scene, which was shocking. Then it was that kind of death scene, which was like shocking as well, because of the reaction. So there's these different points in the movie where I'm just thinking, oh my God, this can't get it can't get worse, can it? It can't, but it does get worse. It does get worse. And so you're seeing the complete breakdown of this woman's family, of the people that she loves, and there's nothing that she can do because apparently it's all hereditary.
Yeah, exactly. Which you cannot escape.
And
You cannot escape.
and then I just kind of kept thinking about this. After I watched the film, and a day later and a couple of days later, I just started thinking about all those images.
Yeah.
Could it have been in her brain? Could it have been that, she was just thinking about this thing? It wasn't really manifesting itself. But no, I think towards the end of the movie, they do clearly show that there is this kind of occult.
Yeah.
The man.
I'm laughing now, but it's scary, man, because there's a part where one of the characters sees that there's a death has happened. He looks at it, and the character's like, scared by it.
Yeah.
And in the background, there's another character on the ceiling, like in the corner, and it's unnatural. You can't do that.
Exactly.
And then the character turns around, sees that person up there, runs, gets chased by this character, and it's so close
to
it's
catching.
so close, yeah. But also, before that happens, I think the character on the ceiling kind of floats, but it doesn't just float like a ghost. It's like they're almost crawling in the air.
Yeah.
It's weird, but it's such an unnatural way
It's just
to move.
so unsettling, and that's where I kind of, it reminded me a bit of the Conjuring type of thing. But so you have that moment, but then you also have a freaky moment with the man standing in the corner.
That was disgusting. That's one of the most horrific things. If I ever saw that in my life,
what the hell would you do?
What floor I'm on? I'm jumping out the window. Yeah,
And
because that man, his balls are out and everything. Some man just standing in the corner, half like in the dark, so you can't really make him out. He's just there with a smile on his face. I'm jumping out any window. I don't care how high it is. I'm going.
No
way.
You might remember this. Go back to the beginning of the film. At the funeral, that same man
was he there?
He was there when he's the one who smiled at the little girl.
Oh my!
The blonde hair, creepy smile. Like, I'm not joking. So the clues are all in the movie. Now, here's another clue in the movie, which I kind of think back to.
Oh my gosh, Amar, speak.
Seriously,
speak.
There is, when Tony Collette's son is at school, the teacher is talking about a Greek tragedy called Sophocles.
Yes, yeah.
Right? Now, in the movie, so the teacher's talking about Sophocles, and he's talking about how we're not in control of our own destiny. That is a major clue. And I was just looking back, and then what I did was I started reading up about Sophocles and like this whole Greek tragedy, and I was like, the director put that in there. But most importantly, the boy is not listening, because his mind's elsewhere and everything. So I'm just like, the director, he put that scary man at the beginning of the movie. He put the kind of the line where Tony Collette says, "My mother had private rituals."
Yes.
So you've got all these things that are going on, and then it just kind of like leads toward this like end. The end of the movie where, I get it now.
You get it? Get what? What do you get?
I get it now. This whole, what the mother was trying to do.
Oh, what the grandmother?
What the grandmother was trying to do.
What was she trying to do? Just like, she was trying to get certain people into her.
She wanted, the grandmother wanted, first of all, Charlie said, so the young girl, Tony Collette's daughter says, grandmother wanted me to be a boy.
Okay. Oh!
That's why it was the whole breastfeeding, the whole getting my hooks into the baby. So from a young age, that was always the plan.
Oh my gosh.
That Charlie was going to grow up, her body was going to be used for, whatever, because the grandmother had planned all of this.
That is crazy. No, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I need to see this film again.
Bro, you got to watch this film. And the director used, and this is true now. So this is true. So when you go online, you'll see this. The people, so occultists out there believe in this demon called the Paimon.
Oh, don't say that again, please. Don't say that again. I'm still... Don't.
And the director, he went out and he researched this, he got the chills. He got freaked out.
Yeah, I can imagine.
When he was doing the research. So this is a proper thing. People actually believe in this out there in the world, right? Man, we're gonna have to cleanse ourselves after this.
Trust me.
Like
Yeah,
seriously.
yeah.
So he went out and he researches and he said that there is a group of people who believe in this shit, right? And this is a real deity, and there's been books kind of like like Reddit, you know.
Oh my gosh.
And it's all leading towards this thing, and I was like, oh my, I didn't get it. But then looking back now, I'm just thinking, oh, all the clues were there.
Yeah. It makes you think though, because like, I mean, I'm talking outside of movies now,
Sure.
into reality, but some of the crazy shit you hear happen in the world where people do crazy murders and stuff. Who knows if maybe they're not, you know, worshipping these things?
Of course.
How do you explain it? Because just going back to the film now, some things happen in the film that are just crazy. Like for starters, the grandmom's body comes like somehow it's back in the house, so it's come from the grave. There's no head, I think.
There's no head, and that's significant because
I was going to say because the earlier during the film when the daughter decapitates the pigeon or the bird or whatever, it's almost like decapitation is like a running theme and happens later on near the end of the film where a character, I'm not going to say who it is, but a character decapitates themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. You heard that right. Don't pause. A character decapitates themselves and they're still alive.
Oh
what
my.
the heck? Yeah. This film is mad.
It's crazy. And when I saw that, I was just like, oh my God, this is depressing. It's kind of shocking. It's kind of like, oh my God. And then you can't stop watching it. And I was watching it and I was just like, oh my God, the blood. And that's kind of like the gory bit, probably type of thing, you know, in the movie.
The only gory bit, really, isn't it? Nothing else is really. I mean, it's not a gore fest.
Yeah, it's not like there's like blood everywhere, but it's definitely one of those things which are like, you know, quite shocking. And then it just kind of I don't know how to kind of like, you know, say this, but the grandmother's body being inside the house, which was always upstairs in the loft, I think that was the cult.
Yeah.
They kind of desecrated the grave. They took the body upstairs somehow, because remember, no one was in that house. They were always out. So I think they kind of like, you know, were able to do that, and it was all leading up to this, to this ritual, and that ritual needed the death of several people within that family. And by the end of it, okay, in your opinion, were they successful? The cult.
Do you know what? Good question. And I was hoping you were going to ask me that, because another reason why I like this film is because it wasn't, in my opinion, the good guys didn't win.
Absolutely.
And I think in certain films, in certain situations with certain powers, I don't think the good guys can win. And in this film, the cult, whoever they were, they got what they wanted.
They got what they wanted. So, you know, you said, you know, that you mentioned before, like, you know, about you would jump out the window and like, you know, well, someone in the film does that.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and it's so funny. I'm laughing about it. I actually did find that quite funny, actually, the way he was just like, what the fuck? And then he just runs out the window. So
crazy. I'll do the same thing. I don't care what floor
just
I'm
like get
out
out of it.
I'm gone.
Like, you know, when you see that. And it's so weird because I was really pissed off with that actor.
Okay.
His reactions.
Okay,
especially after the
first shock.
The first shock. And I was like, how is this even possible? Why doesn't he have this reaction? You know, why?
I don't know if maybe it's he's grieving a lot, or maybe he's just psychologically damaged after everything, or I don't know. Or maybe he was, maybe his balance was off because of the evil in the house. I don't know, but he did get on my nerves a couple of times, but I just there was a point where I just wanted to shake him. And there's a scene at dinner. There's a dinner scene, right, where it's the unsaid. You know, she's seething, she's upset, she's angry, and Gabriel Bryan, he's just kind of like passive. He's so passive in this movie. He just doesn't kind of like want any tension, and
the Tony Collette says to the son, like, have you got anything to say? And the son says, no, have you got anything to say? And then all of a sudden she just explodes.
Yeah.
She's like, you piece of shit, like, you never said sorry about what happened. Like, there was this this massive thing that went on, and I don't see you grieving, I don't see you having any emotion out of it. And then there's just some kind of back and forth, and I just thought, oh my god, this is like really uncomfortable.
Yeah. And that was a powerful scene, because until then she had tried to keep everything controlled, and obviously she was grieving, but she didn't have an outburst like that. And she told him some home truths that were, from a mother to tell their son.
To tell their son.
That's crazy.
I just thought this is
also,
really
she
shocking.
had going back a little bit, there was an episode where she was talking about, or somebody was talking about when she sleepwalks.
Yeah.
And there was a moment where she, I think she sleepwalked, and she found herself like doused in lighter fluid or something.
Yeah.
And she was I think she wanted to burn her son or something, because she had some ill feeling towards him.
Yeah.
And she woke up and found a match in her hand, and it's just mad.
And she tells the son, she goes, I would never, ever, ever, ever do this. But as the audience, we're like, shit, maybe she could have done this.
Exactly.
She could have actually, and then she says that she woke up from the sleepwalk and everything. So you've got so many different layers to this movie. Now, are people right? Are we right to say that this is like on the same level as The Exorcist? Because when you look at kind of The Exorcist and you think of how shocking that was back in the 70s about that subject matter, and there's a particular scene in that film which is really shocking as well. I mean, would you say that the comparison is fair?
I would think for a modern day version, I actually would say it's fair, because I think you got to take it in its context, in what the film is, and also when it's being released, and the audience at that time, because things are different.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I've not gone to a cinema and watched a horror film that's made me feel like this in a long, long time.
Yeah.
And this film achieved something that I think at the time, The Exorcist, that film achieved something there as well.
Sure.
So I think the comparisons, they're different films, but I think the impacts are similar. So I would say yes.
Okay.
I would say yes.
I think that is actually a fair comment. Yeah. A lot of people are saying, look, it's just as shocking as The Exorcist, and there's definitely shocking stuff in this film.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just makes you just think like what type of a viewer you are.
Yeah.
What things make you feel uncomfortable.
True.
So, and whilst I was watching this film, I felt really uncomfortable in certain scenes, certain situations. The creepy girl, the apparition, the unnaturalness of the whole thing. The walking on the wall, and like
music.
And the music. Oh my!
Sometimes it sounded uneven and just a bit off tone, but it was precisely what they wanted.
What they did with the music, I thought that deserves an Oscar. I just thought, like, it's just so atmospheric.
Yeah.
And the way this family lives, they live out in nowhere in the woods.
Yeah.
That creepy treehouse.
Yeah.
Where
crazy.
And I just got to say, what, it's as a piece of filmmaking.
Yeah.
This guy, I wrote this down. He's a first time film director.
Shut up.
This guy, that's it. This is his debut film.
Oh, come on.
How is this even possible?
Heavy.
Like, seriously.
He's gangster.
And like, he and the good thing is this film has made its money back.
Good.
It's made its money back. Apparently it was like on a budget of 10 million.
That's pennies for Hollywood.
Tony Collette and Gabriel Bryant, they were executive producers.
Were they?
Yeah. So they've put, obviously, they've got...
They've used their influence.
They use the influence. They get the film made.
Yeah.
They've attached... And like Gabriel Bryant, he's been making movies for... Like, he's been in Hollywood for a long time. And obviously, he's seen this and thought, okay, this is... We've got to make this movie.
That's good. That's really good.
I think it's really good.
To hear that.
Yeah. So I think this film director, he's definitely going to make more movies.
Yeah. I just hope he keeps them like really grounded, like this one, and not go to not copy the rest.
Yeah.
Keep it unique.
And it's so funny because when I watched this, I was like, how's he going to show? Like, what am I going to? I've seen everything we've seen everything in films now, haven't we?
We have.
Apart from Lars von Trier's thing.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that one.
I know. So
let's just team up. Imagine that.
Exactly. So on on a kind of like
Oh.
on a scale. I mean, what are we doing? How many heads?
How many heads?
Yeah.
That's a good one. Do you know what? How many heads? I would give it. Do you know what? I would give this one 8.5 heads. You know,
Yeah.
8.5. Maybe 8.5 solid. Stretch it. I was going to say 9, but I got to see it again. 8.5, 8.75 heads.
Spot on, absolutely spot on. I think you're absolutely right, and I do want to watch it again.
I do.
Like there were things in there which I picked up, and then it was only afterwards I was like, oh, the creepy man at the beginning, the kind of like the head thing, and like, you know, it was all leading up to this whole thing, and you know, the creepy woman at the it just doesn't bode well.
Got to see it again. There's one other creepy bit that happens as well. That's so small, but there's a couple of screams where there's no scream. I mean, that is unsettling in itself. How can you scream and there's no sound? That to me it's almost as if I make the sound in my head. I'm thinking what sound is coming out is almost worse than hearing the sound.
I know, and I'm gonna do one thing, and
what are you gonna do?
This makes me laugh now, but I'm gonna go.
Oh my gosh! Don't! Oh my gosh, guys! When you see the film, you'll understand what that noise means. If I ever hear a kid make that noise, I'm gonna clap that kid. You know,
or I'm running.
I'm gonna clap that kid and I'm running. Say, move!
Do that again.
Trust me. But that kid's one, kicking that kid down.
The director made the most kind of like the silliest of noises become like the creepiest.
Oh,
like how is that even possible?
I forgot about that, you know. Oh,
yeah,
don't.
And then, like, you know, but anyway, like, audiences out there, please, if you have not seen Hereditary, make sure you do. There's lots of great things in this movie to kind of think about, to talk about, to think to yourself, you know, are things predetermined? Are things, you know, is someone else controlling what happens in our lives? And, you know, can people kind of force us to go in a different direction in life? And I think those are the questions that, you know, we need to ask ourselves, really.
We do.
Brilliant.
Go see the film, guys. Go see it.
Without a doubt, just go see it.
That was good. I like that. I'm a bit creeped out, so we
know.
need to talk about something a bit
lighter now. We need something a bit lighter now. So what else?
Hidden gems.
Please do.
Okay, I've got some hidden gems, but do you know what? My hidden gems are actually kind of horror. Sorry.
Go for it.
Okay. The first hidden gem that I'm going to speak about is a hidden gem that I don't like speaking of.
Okay.
So the fact I'm talking about it today,
Yeah.
guys, be very, very grateful.
Okay.
And after this, I probably won't talk about it again for a long time.
I'm so intrigued.
This hidden gem is a film called The Entity.
Is this an 80s film?
Yes, 1982. The Entity. I've seen this film once in my life.
Yeah.
And I will never watch it again.
Yeah.
Forget that. Yeah, this film is...
Deborah Winger?
I can't remember her name. You could be right. If you're right, you're good.
Yeah. Is it Deborah Winger or Barbara Hershey?
You're gangster.
It's one of those two.
You're gangster.
Deborah Winger or Barbara Hershey. Yeah.
You are gangster.
Yeah.
That's why you're a flickster.
You know what, man? I tell you one thing, Deval, can I just say one thing?
Oh my God.
You know, I saw it and I didn't finish it.
I don't blame you.
I did not finish the film.
The Entity is the one film, and people ask me, now it's going to be Hereditary as well, but when people ask me what horror film is like really good,
unsettling,
I tell them The Entity, but I say, but don't watch it. That's what I say. I say, but don't watch it. And they're like, what? I want to watch it now.
Yeah.
Don't watch it. That's my advice to you. If you want to sleep, if you treasure your sanity and your peace, this film is based, I think, either loosely or quite, tightly, on true events.
True events
in America. A lady who, she was tormented by some spirits.
Yeah.
When a lot of times when she was sleeping, and these spirits would torment her, would spook her, would make noises, will appear, and she's got a child as well. I think she's a single parent. She's got a child, and she's creeped out by this. No matter what she does, the entities follow her. Yeah. So she gets these ghost investigators to come to her house and try and record the supernatural goings on. Yeah. And they do record it. They see things, they hear things, and they try and get it out, but it's not going anywhere. But the thing about this entity that makes it so bad is because
And disturbing, yeah.
it sexually assaults her.
Yeah.
The entity, like you'll see scenes in the film where she's sleeping and then her blouse or her nightie will come undone.
Yeah.
And then you see her breasts like start to move, like
Like being massaged and stuff like that.
And like even between her legs, and it's the most terrifying thing. I mean, sexual assault is terrifying.
Yeah.
Even when it's a human.
Yeah.
Imagine if it's something that you cannot see and
The
cannot
unseen.
stop.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything
Worse.
more terrifying.
I know.
This is something that actually happened.
Yeah.
Forget that.
I know exactly what you mean.
That. I don't care. I know guys are freaky and they think, oh yeah, I'd love to get head in my sleep. No, yeah, no. I don't care. Yeah, nope. I don't want any spirit giving me head in my sleep. No, yeah, no, yeah. No one touching me up.
Exactly.
No.
Oh my
No,
gosh.
this film. To this day, I won't see it.
No,
I will
you know
not
what?
see it.
I
If,
just-
if you say to me next week we're doing a review on the entity, I'll tell you F off.
No,
Yeah?
exactly.
I ain't watching it. No way.
I know. I remember in the 80s, this was this whole big thing. And again, this goes back to like my childhood. Like this films that you shouldn't watch.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I remember this film and like my cousins they were like, oh no, you got to watch the film. And like, you know, I remember it. I was like, saw it. I shouldn't have been watching it. And then in the end, I was just like, you know what? No, I don't want to watch it.
Good-
like, it's
good
just
choice.
like one of
Good
those films. So
choice.
you know what? I haven't seen it.
Good. Okay.
So
Good.
just put it that way. But I know of it, like, and like how notorious and everything,
Yeah.
you know, that film is. Oh my God. So that was like, that was in the 80s, wasn't it?
1982. Even now, when you Google top 100 films or whatever,
It's in there.
This one came up top 10. I believe it came up top 10, and many people have never heard of it.
No.
So keep it that way, guys.
Yeah.
If I can get the Men in Black little light and flash it on you right now so you forget, I'll do it. Okay, my hidden gem number 2.
Yeah, let's make it a bit lighter now.
A bit lighter, but still in the same sort of horror vein. But it's a horror sci-fi called The Cube. I don't know if you've heard of The Cube. It came out in 1997. Horror sci-fi. It's about a bunch of people who just appear in a cube type room.
I think I've seen this.
Someone's taken them, knocked them out, and put them in a cube, and it's like the Crystal Maze, but a horror version. Because
and do they have to do tests?
yeah, they got to do tests, and there's traps in there. So
Yeah.
if they do something wrong, or they go through the wrong door, or they don't play by the rules, yeah, exactly, off with your head,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So
Yeah.
there's so many traps, and people. The good thing about it, it's not just about they're in a strange place and there's traps and they can die, but it's the way they interact with each other. Because
Right.
when they see that this is real, I can die here, they start to there's mistrust, and people maybe will push one person ahead. Oh, you go first. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And sometimes by them making someone else go first, they themselves could die because they went last. You know,
Right,
so it's like you
okay.
don't know what to do. So
Yeah.
it's a really, really clever film. I liked it. I saw it years ago. And it came out in 97. There's about 4 of them,
Okay.
There's like Cube 1, Cube 0, and Cube
Oh,
something
no,
else.
I didn't know
Different
that one.
cubes.
Yeah.
It comes on sometimes. You'll see it on like the Sony channel or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting film, and it really does capture, your attention.
Oh,
it's
that's
fun, but it's a bit like, if I could say, it's a bit like,
It's not like Saw, is it?
I was going to say, so some of the traps kind of remind you of Saw.
Right.
But
Okay.
then, it's kind of like Saw in a cube. a little
Okay.
bit, but without the
And
laughing doll.
it's set is it set in the future?
That's the thing. It looks like it is, but because we're never outside of the cube,
Right. Okay.
so you never know what year it is. But there's one point where you see these 2 guys who are like the cube administrators.
Okay.
And they're in another room, but even outside of that, you don't know. I think in one of them, I think they're in a spaceship. I think I can't be totally sure. I
God,
saw it years
okay.
ago, but yeah, so it could be in the future.
Do you know what that reminds you of? Keeping it with the horror theme, Cabin in the Woods.
Oh yeah.
You know, the administrators.
Yes, exactly. Kind of like that. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Because when that film came out,
Yeah.
that was like, and that was Joss
Joss
Whedon.
Whedon, yeah.
Is it Joss Whedon?
One of them. Whedon,
Okay.
Whedon.
And that was like when I saw that film, I was like, this is so different.
Yeah.
It's not your typical kind of horror film. So that was really
And that
interesting.
had Thor in it as well.
before he was. Now, was that had he been selected?
Yeah, he done Thor. That came out in 2012, so it came out just after the Avengers, I believe.
Right.
Or
Okay.
just before it, one of them. But
Because he's not the main character in that one, though, is he?
No, he's not. But he seems like he is, but he's not. I think
He's-
because he had other things to do, he couldn't be in it all throughout.
Right.
I think Joss Whedon used him to bump up the the profile of the film.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, good film. But
Okay.
yeah, this film. Yeah, it kind of there's parts of it that reminds me of that. But yeah,
Yeah.
good film. The Cube. Go and find it. If you
Yeah,
can't find
I'll
it,
check it
guys,
out. Yeah.
let us know and I'll let you know where to find it. But yeah, it's just The Cube. It's not like the game show on ITV. It's nothing like that.
Nothing like that. No.
No. Okay, my last hidden gem for today.
Yeah.
All my hidden gems today have been about horror. The first one was like horror.
Yeah.
Second one, sci-fi horror.
Yeah, slightly. Yeah.
Third one is going to be comedy horror.
Okay, I love
Yeah?
this.
You
Yeah,
like
go on.
comedy horror?
I love comedy horror.
Okay, so the last hidden gem is called Voices.
No, I've never heard
I
of
don't
this
know if
one.
you've heard Ryan Reynolds, Voices, 2014.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yes, exactly. That's why they're hidden gems.
This is why I love this section of the
You're
show.
not gonna hear of these films unless I tell you.
What the voices? No.
Voices, yeah. So Voices. Do you know what? I watched this film I watched it a few years ago when it first came out. I was hooked. This film was so different to anything I've seen before.
Yeah.
Then again, it kind of reminded me a little bit of sections of it reminded me a little bit of American Werewolf in Paris. You know, when after he's killed someone, he can talk to them, and it's a bit like comedy.
Yeah.
A little bit reminded me a bit of that. But yeah, The Voices is a story of Ryan Reynolds, lead guy, he's a factory worker. He has mental health issues.
Right. Okay.
And he hears voices, unfortunately, which is something that happens
To
with people. I don't
a
know
lot
if
of
it's
people.
called. I don't know what the technical term is. That but yeah, it happens when it's unfortunate. But in the film, he hears voices from his pets. He's got pet cats and so on, and the cats tell him to do things.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so he's socially awkward.
Yeah.
He's just not right, And
Yeah.
he tries, but he can't achieve things. He can't interact with women, and he says the wrong thing at the wrong times, and it's just a shame,
Yeah, definitely.
It's a shame, yeah. But the cats tell him to do things, so he'll go home. He'll have full-blown conversations with his pets. The pets will tell him, because there's a girl at work he fancies, and they tell him to go and take her out, tell him what to say, and he does things, and he takes his girl out. They go on a date. They end up in the car, I believe, and I think he tries to make a sexual advance on her or something like that, and it goes wrong. Long story short, I can't remember exactly how. I think it's with the car, to be honest. I think he knocks her over, but she dies. This is Gemma Atherton.
Okay,
She's in
British
it.
actress,
Yeah, she's in it, and she dies.
Okay.
And sorry, I spoiled it. Spoilers, sorry.
Don't worry.
And because he's socially awkward and he's got mental problems, he doesn't report it to the police. He takes her home. He cuts off her head. He cuts her into pieces.
This is gruesome.
Puts her head in his fridge. But doesn't end there, because her head speaks to him as well.
Oh my
So
God.
Gemma Atherton, her role doesn't stop there.
Yeah.
She still speaks to him throughout the film.
Wow.
She tells him to do things. So he's having these full on, it's like Deadpool with mental health issues, cutting people up, and he's having them full blown conversations.
Why have I not heard of this film?
Great, I've got it. I'll give it to you.
Oh, wicked!
It's a great film. Yeah, it's comedy, it's horror, it's drama, it's low budget.
So was this made before or after Deadpool?
Yeah, 2014. So before Deadpool, 2 years
right?
before.
Okay,
Yeah,
wow.
2 years before. But it's a good film. I mean, no one's heard of it.
No.
Every time I mention it, people's like, "What? Voices?" It's such a independent, under the radar film,
low budget type of thing.
One of the best of his film collection.
I've got to watch it.
Deadpool, Voices, and maybe a couple others. But Voices is really good. It's also got can't remember her name, but she's an American actress. She was meant to be. There was rumors of her being in the being Squirrel Girl. She looks like a squirrel, but I'll find her name after. But she's in it as well. She's a well-known actress. But apart from that, the rest of the cast are quite low-key. But yeah, it's a really funny film. Very, very worth watching.
I'm going to check that out.
I don't want to spoil it too much, but a lot of things happen. He's talking to a lot of body parts.
Right.
He gathers a lot of body parts and stores them in the fridge, and by the end of the film, it's like things get out of control because he still goes to work.
He's still trying to like maintain a normal life.
He still goes to work, and he's still trying to be normal, but he's not normal.
Yeah.
And again, it lends to the stories that we hear in real life of people that commit these murders, and you think, how can anyone do that? In this film, it shows that when someone's crazy, they're crazy, and we're not equipped to understand that crazy.
Why and how? Like,
not to condone it, but I mean, he really thought what he was doing was okay.
Yeah. Well, this is a thing. Going back to, did you see this film, a Spike Lee film, Summer of Sam?
Summer of Sam, and
also The Zodiac.
Yeah.
So just keeping it with this whole theme of all that. Well, he flipping. He said the dog told him to do it.
There you go. And in his mind, the dog did.
Yeah.
Like, we're thinking he's crazy. He's thinking we're crazy.
Yeah. So it just all kind of, there's a lot of crazy out there.
There's a lot of crazy out there.
There's a lot of, like, but I mean, one thing I think kind of like from this week and watching Hereditary and like talking about these films is that there are some really unsettling things out there in the world. A lot. And they can make their way into movies in kind of funny ways, like with the voices, and then they can make their way into like films like Hereditary, which are like you think to yourself, my family is my safest bit of the whole kind of like society. But when that breaks down, what the hell have you got?
The voices. That's it.
It's just like, so what I would say is enjoy these films, like watch these films, but like you can't obviously take them away with you and like keep. But a funny thing that I should say this, but after I watched Hereditary, it did stay with me for a couple of days afterwards, and I was like, shit, like I don't want to be like I don't want these images in my head. But I suppose that that just shows you how good of a film it is.
And you're right. It's like after seeing a film like Hereditary, you need to cleanse your mind of something. Go watch some football. Go watch some cartoons. Do something to get that out of your head, because you will not sleep properly that night.
No, because you'll just be thinking about it. Okay, so
also just to say, it was Anna Kendrick who's also in the voices.
Kendrick, the one from from the singing one.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, that singing film that I will not watch.
Pitch Perfect.
Pitch Perfect. Yes, that's the one.
I think that's it
for this week.
This week, I thought that was a cracking show.
Time flies. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was really, really good doing.
Yeah, go out there, watch the films that we've mentioned this week, and if you have any suggestions, any films that you want us to take a look at, obviously let us know on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, and
everything. YouTube. Also, I just want to introduce this. I've got a little surprise for you, actually. A little surprise before we go.
Okay.
Because we know our listeners and our viewers, they really support the work we do. We want to support you back. So we're putting a shout out there today. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what film you want us to review. So the person that lets us know, the person that lets us know the soonest, so the first comment of film or whatever it might be that we have, we will send you a free cinema code for you to go and watch a film of your choice at any selected View or Cineworld Cinema. There you go. So guys, get commenting. Let us know. Let's keep it going. Let's keep up the flow. Let's keep the Flicksters on the road.
Peace out.
Peace out.